Welcome to the Coins Quest, your ultimate destination where every coin tells a hidden story of fortune, history, and mystery. And today we're diving deep into a fascinating world that could literally change your life. The world of rare coins, specifically the legendary 1940 no-mint Mark 1 cent USA wee penny. A coin that might look ordinary to most but holds secrets and possibilities worth up to $22 million because of its astonishing minting errors and the historical mistakes that have turned this tiny piece of copper into a collector's dream and a millionaire's ticket. Before we talk about where and how to sell your rare coins for the highest possible profit, let's first understand why coins like the 1940 no-mint Mark wee penny have become so insanely valuable, and what specific factors make it stand out in the world of numismatics. The 1940 wee penny was minted at a time when America was recovering from the Great Depression and preparing for World War II, which means quality control at the U.S. Mint was under tremendous strain. In Philadelphia, where coins were minted without mint marks, certain batches of the 1940 pennies came out with serious die cracks, off-center strikes, double die obverse errors, and even planchet flaws that resulted in missing letters, distorted Lincoln portraits, and unusual color variations. Some examples show doubling on the word Liberty. Others display ghost-like shadows around Lincoln's profile, and a few were struck on bronze or experimental planchets that were not intended for circulation. These small yet powerful details are what make the 1940 no-mint Mark wee penny one of the most sought-after coins in the world today. Imagine holding a simple 1-cent coin that carries within it a printing mistake, or a striking anomaly so rare that it transforms from a penny into a treasure worth millions. The reason these error coins are valued so highly is not only their rarity, but also the excitement and mystery surrounding their discovery. Every time a collector uncovers one of these flawed coins in an old jar, inherited collection, or estate sale, the story adds another layer of historical magic to the piece. The most notable error types found on the 1940 no-mint Mark penny include double die errors, where the coin design was struck twice creating a noticeable shadow effect, off-center strikes, where the design is visibly misaligned, and die cracks, where the minting die fractured and created raised lines or patterns on the coin's surface. Some even display die cuts, where a piece of the die broke off completely, leaving an oddly shaped blob of metal that makes each coin unique. One of the most exceptional cases involves a 1940 wee penny struck on a foreign planchet, possibly from a leftover metal disc intended for another country's currency. These mistakes, though unintentional, are what fuel collectors' fascination and skyrocket the coin's market value. So when we talk about a $22 million valuation, it's not random, it's based on the principles of rarity, demand, and the historical narrative that defines the coin's existence. Collectors and auction houses are willing to pay astronomical sums for coins like these because they represent not just money, but history captured in metal. Now, if you're a beginner who has just stepped into the thrilling world of coin collecting, there are some essential tips you must know before you start searching your pockets, old piggy banks, or inherited boxes of coins for that life-changing penny. First, always handle coins by their edges and never clean them with any chemicals or abrasives, as even the slightest damage or alteration can reduce their value dramatically. The natural patina and original condition of a coin are extremely important to serious collectors and grading companies. Speaking of grading, you should familiarize yourself with professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. These organizations authenticate, grade, and encapsulate coins in tamper-proof holders, giving them official certification and boosting their resale value exponentially. If you believe you've found a rare coin like the 1940 no-mint Mark wee penny, your first step should be to research its characteristics. Look for signs of doubling, unusual textures, or misaligned features, and then have it evaluated by a professional numismatist. There are several trusted platforms where you can sell rare coins safely and profitably, including Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, Great Collections, and online platforms like eBay, where collectors and dealers constantly look for new finds. However, selling through an auction house or a certified dealer often ensures a better price because buyers have more confidence in professionally authenticated coins. It's also wise to join coin clubs or online numismatic communities where experienced collectors can offer guidance and even appraise your coin informally before you make a major decision. Remember that the coin market is driven by both rarity and condition, so two coins with the same minting era could have dramatically different values based on their preservation state. When evaluating a 1940 no-mint Marquis penny, pay close attention to the clarity of Lincoln's features, the condition of the wheat ears on the reverse, and any visible marks or discoloration. A coin that retains its original red luster, has sharp details, and shows distinct minting errors could be a once-in-a-lifetime find. Many people have unknowingly spent coins worth small fortunes simply because they assumed all pennies look the same. That's why education and patience are key in this hobby. Spend time studying minting processes, understand how dyes wear out, and learn to spot genuine errors from post-mint damage. Post-mint damage, caused by circulation or accidental scratches, does not add value, only genuine minting errors do. As a beginner, start with simple steps. Collect coins by year and mint mark, keep them in protective holders, and use a magnifying glass to inspect details. Over time, your eye for identifying valuable traits will improve. For example, even slight doubling on letters like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" can indicate a double die error. Similarly, look for variations in the rim thickness or missing parts of the design, which may suggest off-center strikes. These tiny imperfections can turn ordinary coins into extraordinary investments. Now let's talk more about where to sell rare coins once you've identified them. The best places depend on your goals. If you want quick cash, local coin shops and pawn shops might offer immediate deals, but they often pay less because they need room for profit. If you aim for maximum value, online auctions or coin shows are your best bet. Major coin shows, such as the ANA World's Fair of Money or regional coin expos, gather professional dealers, appraisers, and serious collectors all under one roof, creating the perfect environment for high-value transactions. Networking with experts at these events can also open doors to private sales or exclusive auctions where rare coins like the 1940 no-mint Marquis penny attract international attention. When listing a coin online, take clear, well-lit photos showing both sides and any visible errors. Include all relevant details like weight, dimensions, and certification number if graded. Transparency builds trust and can lead to competitive bidding. Many beginners underestimate how presentation affects value, but in coin trading, first impressions matter immensely. As you continue your journey, remember that coin collecting isn't just about making money, it's about preserving history and uncovering hidden stories from the past. Every coin you find, especially one from an era like 1940, carries with it a piece of America's cultural and industrial legacy. The fact that something as simple as a penny could survive decades, endure wars, and still exist today is remarkable in itself. Add a minting error to that, and you have a relic that tells a story of imperfection, human craftsmanship, and fate. For those wondering how a small metal coin could ever be worth $22 million, it's a combination of rarity, historical appeal, collector competition, and sheer luck. Some of the most expensive coins ever sold, like the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, achieved similar fame because they weren't supposed to exist. Their value came from their uniqueness. The 1940 no-mint Marquis penny follows the same logic. Only a few were struck with these unique errors, and as time passes, fewer remain in pristine condition. That scarcity drives collectors to pay astronomical amounts to own a piece of minting history. When it comes to verifying authenticity, avoid relying solely on online photos or casual appraisals. Many replicas and fakes circulate in the market, and distinguishing real error coins requires expertise. Professional graders use microscopes and specialized equipment to analyze die characteristics and strike patterns. Once your coin is certified, its market value becomes much more stable, and you can even track similar sales online to estimate its worth. If you choose to hold onto your coin instead of selling immediately, keep it in a cool, dry environment, preferably inside an airtight coin capsule or slab, away from humidity and direct sunlight. Proper storage not only protects your investment, but also maintains its visual appeal for years to come. Next, 1944 D Mint Mark 1 cent USA wee penny, a coin that looks like any ordinary Lincoln cent at first glance but has an unbelievable face value of up to $17 million because of its extremely rare minting errors and the fascinating story behind its creation. The 1944 Dewey penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a very unique period in American history when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from using steel planchets in 1943 back to bronze planchets in 1944. During this massive switch, a few leftover steel planchets from 1943 accidentally got mixed with the new bronze blanks, leading to the creation of one of the most famous and valuable coin errors in U.S. history, the 1944 D steel penny. Most 1944 pennies were made from copper-based alloy, but a tiny number were mistakenly struck on steel planchets, which makes these coins magnetic and silvery in color instead of the usual reddish-brown tone. Only a handful of these steel 1944 D pennies exist, and each one has become a legendary rarity in the coin collecting community. Some collectors and historians believe these errors happened because mint workers overlooked a few leftover zinc-coated steel blanks from the previous year's wartime production, while others suggest that experimental test strikes or simple human error during planchet sorting caused the mix-up. Whatever the case, the result was extraordinary, a tiny 1-cent coin with a minting mistake so rare that it turned into a multi-million-dollar collectible. Imagine the thrill of finding such a coin in an old family coin jar or a dusty box of change passed down through generations. The discovery of one such coin could instantly transform you from an ordinary collector into a millionaire overnight. The 1944 D steel penny is not just valuable because of its composition error, its condition and authenticity also play massive roles in determining its worth. High-grade examples certified by PCGS or NGC can fetch astronomical prices at auctions, especially when they retain their original mint luster and show minimal signs of wear. The combination of rarity, demand, and historical significance drives the value of these coins, and that's why collectors are willing to pay up to $17 million for a single perfect specimen. To identify if your 1944 D penny could be one of these rare steel versions, the first step is to check if it sticks to a magnet. A genuine 1944 D steel penny will attract to a magnet due to its metallic composition, while a normal bronze penny will not. Also, steel pennies have a grayish-silver appearance, unlike the reddish-brown tone of copper ones. Be cautious, though. There are many counterfeits made by altering 1943 steel pennies or coating regular 1944 copper cents to mimic the look of steel. The edges, weight, and magnetic response must all align with the characteristics of genuine mint errors. That's why authentication by a professional grading service is absolutely essential before attempting to sell or even publicly advertise your coin. When you have a verified 1944 D steel penny, the next big question is where to sell it to get the maximum value. Reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections are among the best choices because they cater specifically to elite collectors and investors who understand the coin's true worth. Private sales through certified numismatic brokers can also yield high prices, especially when dealing with ultra-rare specimens. Online marketplaces such as eBay, Etsy, or specialized collector platforms can work too, but only if you have proper certification and a solid reputation as a seller. A coin of this magnitude deserves global exposure, so presenting it with detailed photos, grading information, and historical context will attract serious bidders. And speaking of presentation, one of the most overlooked aspects of coin selling is storytelling. Every coin has a narrative, its era, its minting anomaly, its survival, and collectors love to own not just metal, but history itself. The story of the 1944 Dewey penny is the story of wartime America, when every resource was precious, and even pennies were made from steel to save copper for ammunition. These coins serve as physical reminders of resilience, innovation, and accidental brilliance. That's what makes them more than currency. They are historical artifacts encapsulating a moment of transition in human history. For beginner collectors, learning to identify these kinds of transitional era coins is one of the most rewarding parts of the hobby. Always study the mint marks closely. The D under the date signifies that it was minted in Denver, and compare its texture, color, and weight to standard examples. A normal 1944 copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while a steel version weighs closer to 2.7 grams. This subtle difference can help you quickly rule out ordinary coins. Beginners often overlook small clues like these, but with patience and observation, you'll start developing a sharp eye for anomalies that could be worth fortunes. It's also vital to learn the difference between genuine minting errors and post-mint damage. Scratches, corrosion, or exposure to chemicals may change a coin's appearance, but they don't increase value. Only errors that occur during the minting process, such as wrong planchet strikes, doubled dies, or off-center impressions, truly enhance rarity. The 1944 steel penny is a prime example of how minting oversight can transform a humble cent into a multi-million-dollar collectible. If you happen to own one or think you've discovered something similar, protect it immediately. Place it in a non-PVC plastic holder, avoid touching it directly with your fingers, and never attempt to clean or polish it. Cleaning can strip away the original surface and dramatically reduce the coin's value. Many beginners make the mistake of shining their coins to make them look new, not realizing they're erasing what collectors value most: originality. Once your coin is safely stored, reach out to professional graders for evaluation. The small investment in certification will pay off greatly when it's time to sell. Beyond the 1944 penny, this example teaches an important lesson to all collectors. Every era coin, regardless of denomination or year, has the potential to become a treasure if its story, rarity, and condition align perfectly. That's why so many enthusiasts today are re-examining their old collections in change jars, hoping to find a hidden gem. The modern collector market thrives on these discoveries, and as awareness grows, values continue to rise. The demand for rare U.S. pennies, especially from the 1940s and 1950s, is stronger than ever, making this the perfect time to start your own coin hunting adventure. Remember, the secret to success in coin collecting is knowledge, patience, and curiosity. Don't be discouraged if your first few finds aren't worth millions. Each coin you inspect teaches you something new about minting techniques, die varieties, and historical context. Join online forums, follow reputable YouTube channels like The Coin's Quest, read numismatic books, and stay up to date with auction results. The more you learn, the greater your chances of recognizing the next legendary coin before anyone else. And as you continue your quest, keep in mind that the beauty of this hobby lies not only in the potential profits, but in the connection it creates between past and present. Coins like the 1944 penny remind us that even mistakes can become masterpieces when history gives them meaning. So whether you're holding an old penny from your grandparents' collection or just found one in your pocket change, take a closer look, because what appears to be a simple cent might just be your $17 million miracle waiting to be discovered. Next, 1945 No Mint Mark 1 cent USA penny, a coin that seems so simple, yet its story, mistakes, and mysterious minting flaws have made it worth an unbelievable $19 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 1-cent coin from 1945, minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark, has achieved such a mind-blowing valuation because of its unique combination of minting errors, historical context, and sheer rarity that defies belief. To understand why this coin has become a numismatic legend, we must go back to the post-World War II era. In 1945, America had just emerged from the war, industries were shifting from military production to civilian needs, and the U.S. Mint was returning to normal operations after years of using alternative metals due to wartime shortages. During that transition, the Mint used millions of leftover planchets and dies, and it's believed that some of these materials were defective or mismatched. This is where the magic, and the fortune, begins. Among the millions of 1945 pennies minted, a few were struck with severe die cracks, doubled dies, off-center impressions, and even composition anomalies. Some examples of the 1945 No Mint Mark penny were mistakenly struck on leftover steel or foreign bronze planchets, possibly remnants from 1943 or 1944, giving them an unusual metallic sheen or lighter weight than standard pennies. These composition mistakes are the rarest and most valuable, making them the kind of coins that can command prices in the millions. Imagine a small disc of metal that accidentally captures the moment when the mint switched materials, a tiny historical glitch frozen in time, now worth more than luxury homes and sports cars combined. The most famous 1945 no-mint mark era varieties include the double-die obverse, where Lincoln's profile and inscription show clear doubling visible even without a magnifying glass, the off-center strike, where part of the design is missing or misaligned, and the clipped planchet error, where a section of the coin's edge is cut off due to a misfeed in the minting press. Each of these errors tells a story of imperfection, and it's those imperfections that drive collectors wild. One of the most legendary examples of the 1945 no-mint mark penny is a specimen struck on a steel planchet rather than the normal copper alloy. This happened because leftover steel blanks from 1943 got caught in the minting machinery and were used accidentally. These rare survivors stand out with their silvery appearance and magnetic properties, making them instantly recognizable. A genuine 1945 no-mint mark steel penny has been reported to sell for over $19 million in private collector circles, mainly because only one or two examples are known to exist. Such coins are virtually priceless to dedicated numismatists, as they embody a perfect blend of history, error, and mystery. Now, let's explore why these coins hold such immense value beyond just rarity. The 1945 penny marks the symbolic end of World War II and the beginning of America's post-war economic boom. It was the last year before the mint began modernizing its equipment, meaning that quality control was inconsistent, leading to more chances for error coins to escape into circulation. Collectors today cherish these transitional era coins not only for their scarcity, but also for the historical emotion attached to them. They're literal pieces of a changing world. For beginners stepping into coin collecting, understanding the story behind such coins is crucial. The key to identifying a valuable 1945 no-mint mark penny is careful observation. Check the coin's surface for unusual color tones. A genuine era coin might appear silver-gray if struck on steel, reddish with dark patches if struck on an alloy mix, or even exhibit slight blurring in the letters of Liberty or In God We Trust, due to die doubling. Examine the edges too. If they seem clipped or irregular, it could indicate a misstrike. Using a simple magnifying glass and a small magnet, you can perform quick at-home tests. If your 1945 penny sticks to a magnet, you might just have stumbled upon a multi-million-dollar treasure. But before you get too excited, always authenticate through professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. These organizations use advanced tools to confirm the metal composition, strike characteristics, and authenticity of rare coins. A certified 1945 no-mint mark steel penny will have its authenticity sealed and graded, instantly boosting its market value and desirability among collectors. Once authenticated, your next step is deciding where to sell it. The world of coin selling has evolved tremendously, and you have multiple options depending on your goals. If you want fast liquidity, local coin dealers or pawnshops can make instant offers, but they might pay less to account for their resale margin. However, if you're aiming for the best possible price, and a $19 million coin deserves nothing less, then major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections are the right places. These institutions specialize in rare and high-value coins and have networks of global buyers willing to pay premium prices. Some private collectors and investors even compete for these coins in confidential sales, driving the value higher. In the digital age, selling online through platforms like eBay or dedicated numismatic websites can also yield great results, but always ensure your coin is professionally graded and insured before listing. Proper presentation, clear, high-resolution photos, accurate descriptions, and historical context makes a world of difference. A coin's story can significantly influence its perceived worth. When a buyer understands the unique circumstances under which a 1945 penny was accidentally struck on a wrong planchet right at the end of World War II, the emotional and historical value multiplies. For those just beginning their journey in coin collecting, here's an essential tip: never underestimate the power of small details. The most valuable coins in history often became treasures because of the tiniest imperfections. A single misplaced letter, an unusual texture, or a slight shift in alignment can mean the difference between a common penny and $1 million masterpiece. That's why magnification, lighting, and research are your best friends. Keep a log of every coin you find, note its features, and store them carefully in protective holders. Avoid cleaning your coins, as this can erase vital minting details and reduce their value drastically. The natural toning and patina are part of a coin's history and authenticity. Store them in a cool, dry environment away from humidity, ideally in airtight containers. This prevents oxidation and maintains their integrity for decades. And don't forget, networking is key. Join local coin clubs, attend coin expos, and participate in online collector communities where experts share knowledge and trade secrets. You might even meet someone who can help identify hidden gems in your own collection. The 1945 no-mint mark penny also teaches a valuable lesson about how mistakes can turn into miracles. During its creation, the mint never imagined these few flawed coins would one day become priceless. Yet, decades later, they're living proof that imperfection can hold extraordinary beauty and worth. This is why collectors worldwide are so passionate. It's not just about owning coins but about preserving human history, craftsmanship, and chance. When you hold a 1945 wheat penny, you're holding a tangible piece of America's past, forged during a time of hope, reconstruction, and progress. And if your coin happens to carry one of those fateful minting errors, you're not just holding history, you're holding fortune. So keep searching your old drawers, jars, and inherited boxes. Who knows, your next 1945 penny could be the one with that rare metallic shine or double-struck Liberty mark, waiting to change your destiny. Here on the Coins Quest, we believe every coin has a story and every collector has a chance to find theirs. The 1945 no-mint mark wheat penny reminds us that hidden treasures are everywhere, sometimes disguised as the simplest things we take for granted. So keep looking closely, keep learning, and never lose that spark of curiosity, because your $19 million miracle might just be waiting in your pocket right now. Next, 1946 no-mint mark 1 cent USA wheat penny, a humble-looking copper coin with a staggering face value of $17 million because of its mysterious minting errors, unusual features, and the incredible historical circumstances that surrounded its creation. At first glance, it looks just like any other wheat penny that circulated after World War II, but deep within its metal lies a story of rarity, human oversight, and historical transition that makes it one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. The 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest U.S. minting facility, which traditionally didn't use a mint mark on its coins. By 1946, the country was recovering from the war, and the mint was returning to peacetime production using leftover materials from wartime operations. During this shift, mistakes were bound to happen, and a few extraordinary errors slipped through, errors that would turn certain 1946 pennies into multimillion-dollar rarities. One of the most fascinating errors found on the 1946 no-mint mark penny involves planchet composition. While most were made from the standard bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a handful were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943 or experimental planchets of different alloys. These wrong metal errors gave the coins a lighter weight and a silvery appearance instead of the usual reddish tone. Imagine a small penny that doesn't even look copper but instead shines like steel. That's the kind of coin collectors dream of. Because only a few of these rare 1946 off-metal coins were ever minted, their scarcity has driven their value to jaw-dropping levels, with some fetching prices estimated at $17 million among elite collectors. Another category of valuable 1946 no-mint mark pennies includes double die and die crack errors. Some examples show doubling on the date 1946, particularly the 9 and 6, or in the inscriptions, Liberty and In God We Trust. Others have die cracks that look like raised lines running across Lincoln's face or through the wheat stalks on the reverse. These features aren't just random marks. They're literal signatures of history, caused by minting machinery wearing out after the intense production demands of the war years. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is visibly misaligned, leaving part of the planchet blank. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the higher its value. In some cases, you can see only half of Lincoln's profile, which makes the coin visually unique and incredibly collectible. These distinct minting mistakes, though unintended, are exactly what turn ordinary cents into million-dollar masterpieces. The 1946 penny's value is also tied to its historical timing. The year marked a turning point in America's economy. Industries were booming again, veterans were returning home, and the mint was transitioning to peacetime efficiency. In that environment of rapid change, small oversights at the mint were almost inevitable. Leftover dyes, old materials, or misfeeds during high-speed production could easily create error coins that went unnoticed at the time but would later become priceless treasures. For collectors, this coin represents both history and opportunity. The idea that an everyday coin struck during a period of hope and rebuilding could end up being worth $17 million captures the imagination of numismatists around the world. For beginners in coin collecting, the 1946 no-mint Mark II penny offers a perfect example of why it's so important to examine every detail of your coins. At a casual glance, all pennies from that era look similar, but true collectors know that the value lies in the details: the weight, the color, the texture, the sharpness of the strike, and the smallest of errors. Start by checking if your coin has an unusual metallic tone or lighter weight. A normal 1946 copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, but one struck on a steel planchet will weigh closer to 2.7 grams and will stick to a magnet. If your penny is magnetic, you could be holding one of the rarest coins in the world. Next, inspect the lettering under good lighting and magnification. If you see doubling, die breaks, or distorted details, you may have a valuable error coin. Remember, even small anomalies can multiply the value exponentially. Once you believe you have found a rare coin, the first rule is, never clean it. Cleaning coins destroys their original surface and dramatically reduces value. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC prioritize originality above all else. Handle the coin carefully by its edges and store it in a protective holder until you can have it professionally evaluated. Certification from a reputable grading service is essential for confirming authenticity and establishing an official market value. When your 1946 penny is authenticated and graded, you'll have several excellent options for selling it. Major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections specialize in high-value numismatic treasures and attract collectors worldwide. They can help you reach serious buyers who understand the coin's historical and monetary worth. Alternatively, if you prefer more control, you can approach private collectors or elite numismatic investors through professional coin brokers. Some of the rarest 1946 wheat pennies have changed hands privately for sums that would make even seasoned collectors pause in awe. Online platforms like eBay can also be effective if you have a certified coin, but caution is needed because the high value attracts counterfeiters and scammers. Always provide clear, high-resolution images showing the coin's details, weight, and certification number, along with a compelling description that tells its story. The narrative behind your coin is often just as important as the coin itself. Collectors love coins with history, especially those that carry visible signs of the times they were minted in. The 1946 no-mint Mark II penny embodies that perfectly. It's a symbol of transition, resilience, and the unpredictability of minting during a pivotal moment in U.S. history. For beginners, this coin also offers an important lesson in patience and perseverance. Not every coin you find will be worth millions, but every search brings knowledge and excitement. You learn to recognize patterns, spot anomalies, and appreciate the artistry behind each strike. Over time, that expertise increases your chances of finding something extraordinary, maybe even your own million-dollar penny. Always remember to build your foundation through education. Study minting processes, learn how to distinguish genuine errors from post-mint damage, and stay informed about recent auction results. Follow communities of collectors online or attend local coin shows to see real examples of valuable coins up close. The more you immerse yourself in the world of numismatics, the better equipped you'll be to identify treasures others might overlook. Another vital tip for beginners is proper storage. Store your coins in a cool, dry place away from humidity, and use acid-free coin flips or airtight capsules. Temperature fluctuations can cause discoloration or corrosion over time, which diminishes a coin's value. For coins of exceptional rarity, consider safe deposit boxes or professional coin storage services. The 1946 no-mint mark penny also represents a fascinating blend of human error and natural history. It's a reminder that perfection isn't what creates value, imperfection does. Those small minting mistakes that slipped past quality control have now become symbols of chance and fortune. A minor oversight by a mint worker in 1946 could result in someone today holding a coin worth millions. It's this sense of possibility that keeps collectors searching tirelessly, inspecting every penny, hoping to uncover that next big discovery. And that's the heart of the coin's quest, turning curiosity into opportunity, transforming forgotten change into legendary finds. So if you ever come across a 1946 penny without a mint mark, take a second look. Test it for magnetic response, inspect its color and details, and if it looks unusual, have it evaluated. You might be holding a once-in-a-lifetime treasure, one of those few error coins that slip through history's cracks only to resurface decades later as a symbol of fortune. The 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny proves that even the smallest pieces of metal can carry stories worth millions. Every collector dreams of finding one, and every search begins with a single coin. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep believing that your next discovery could be the $17 million miracle that changes your life forever. Next, 1957 mint mark 1 cent USA wheat penny, a coin that might look ordinary, yet its hidden minting mistakes and unique history have transformed it into a multi-million-dollar treasure with a face value soaring up to $14 million. At first glance, it's just another Lincoln wheat penny, bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the twin wheat stalks on the reverse. But beneath that simple design lies a combination of minting errors, metal variations, and historical circumstances that have elevated certain examples of the 1957 penny into the ranks of the most valuable coins in the world. Minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small d under the date, the 1957 wheat penny came at the end of an era. It was among the last wheat pennies ever produced before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial reverse design in 1959. During this period, the mint was operating at massive scale, churning out billions of pennies to keep up with America's booming post-war economy. With such high-speed production, it was almost inevitable that a few remarkable minting mistakes slipped through the cracks, and those rare flawed specimens have now become legendary. Some of the most valuable 1957 wheat pennies are known for their dramatic double die errors, where parts of the design were accidentally struck twice, creating a visible shadow or doubling effect on the lettering or Lincoln's portrait. The most sought-after examples show strong doubling on the date 1957 itself or on the word Liberty. Under magnification, these doubled details leap out, revealing the mechanical misalignment that occurred during the coin's minting process. It's these accidental imperfections, these frozen moments of mechanical error, that collectors prize most. Another remarkable error type from the 1957 series is the off-center strike, where the coin design is not properly centered on the planchet. Depending on the severity, part of Lincoln's face might be missing, or one of the wheat stalks on the reverse might be cut off entirely. The more off-center the design, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. In extreme cases where less than half of the design appears, yet the date and mint mark remain visible, the coin's rarity skyrockets, making it worth thousands or even millions. Then there's the BIE error, a fascinating type of die break that appears as a small raised blob between the letters B and E in the word Liberty. Though minor in appearance, these die breaks are beloved by collectors because they tell a story about the coin's creation. The mint's dies were used so extensively that cracks developed, leaving these tiny but identifiable signatures on the coins. The 1957 pennies with prominent or unusual BIE breaks are highly collectible, and in pristine condition, can fetch extraordinary prices at auction. However, what truly sets a handful of 1957 wheat pennies apart, and pushes their value into the multimillion-dollar range, are the wrong planchet errors. These are coins that were accidentally struck on metal blanks intended for other denominations, such as dimes or foreign coins. When this happens, the coin's weight, thickness, and coloration differ from a standard penny. Imagine a 1957 Dewey penny that's lighter, thinner, or even silvery instead of coppery. That's the kind of anomaly that sends collectors into a frenzy. There are verified examples of 1957 Dewey pennies struck on silver dime planchets or experimental alloy planchets, and these have sold for astronomical amounts because of their extreme rarity. Each of these coins represents a freak accident of minting history, a once-in-a-generation mistake that somehow escaped the mint's quality control and entered circulation unnoticed. The historical context of 1957 also adds intrigue to the story. America was deep in the Cold War era, technology was advancing rapidly, and industrial processes were evolving. The Denver Mint, like other U.S. facilities, was modernizing its equipment, experimenting with improved dies, and pushing production limits. Amid this industrial frenzy, small mechanical slips or leftover blanks from other minting operations could easily have caused these exceptional mistakes. These rare coins are tangible artifacts of that transition, reminders that even in a highly controlled process, human and mechanical imperfections can create something extraordinary. Now, if you're a beginner collector dreaming of finding one of these incredible 1957 Dewey pennies, here's what you need to look for. Start with the basics. Examine the coin's color, weight, and surface details. A genuine 1957 D penny should weigh about 3.11 grams if made from the standard copper alloy. If yours feels noticeably lighter or heavier, or has a silvery tone instead of the traditional reddish-brown, it could have been struck on the wrong metal. Next, use a magnifying glass to inspect the date, mint mark, and lettering. Look for doubling, raised cracks, or strange blobs of metal. Even the smallest irregularities can indicate a minting error. And if your coin's strike seems off-center, with parts of the design missing or cut off, that's another major clue. Once you think you've found something special, the next step is authentication. Never attempt to clean your coin, as this can destroy its surface and drastically reduce its value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and keep it in a protective coin holder or capsule. Then, submit it to a professional grading service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. These experts will verify the coin's authenticity, assess its condition, and encapsulate it in a tamper-proof holder with a certification number. This official grading is what transforms a coin from an interesting find into a serious investment, dramatically increasing its potential selling price. When your coin has been authenticated and graded, the exciting part begins: deciding where to sell it. For a coin of this magnitude, you have several excellent options. If you want to reach the highest-end buyers, major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections are the best platforms. These firms specialize in ultra-rare coins and attract collectors and investors from all over the world. They often handle million-dollar sales for unique specimens like the 1957 D Wrong Planchet pennies. You can also consider selling through private collectors or dealers who focus on rare U.S. cents. They may offer top-dollar bids for exceptional pieces. Online platforms like eBay can be useful for exposure, but when dealing with such valuable coins, always ensure you're working with verified buyers and that your coin's certification is prominently displayed. Beyond selling, however, the story you tell about your coin is what truly captivates collectors. The 1957 D penny isn't just a piece of metal, it's a witness to history, minted during a time of change, progress, and innovation. It was one of the last coins of the iconic wheatback design, a design that had represented the nation's spirit of growth and prosperity for half a century. Owning or even discovering one of these rare error coins connects you to that legacy. Each blemish, each misstrike, each doubling of a letter isn't a flaw, it's a fingerprint of the past. And that's why collectors are willing to pay fortunes for them. For beginners, this coin is a reminder that true value often hides in plain sight. Always check your change carefully, examine every detail, and don't dismiss old pennies as worthless. Even small imperfections could mean you're holding something extraordinary. Educate yourself by studying images of known minting errors, comparing your coins under different lighting, and learning how minting processes work. The more you understand, the better your chances of recognizing a $1,000,000 treasure when you see one. In coin collecting, patience is everything. You might go through hundreds or even thousands of pennies before finding one with an error, but when you do, the reward can be life-changing. That's what makes the coins quest so thrilling, the knowledge that every coin you examine could be the one that changes your life forever. And with coins like the 1957 Dewey penny out there, that dream is far from impossible. So the next time you come across a 1957 D penny, don't overlook it. Hold it up to the light, inspect the details, and think about the millions of other coins that pass through the same minting machines, and how only a handful emerged with the rare, priceless flaws that make them worth $14 million today. Somewhere out there, in someone's forgotten coin jar or family keepsake, lies another of these legendary pennies waiting to be found. And maybe, just maybe, it's waiting for you, the next great treasure hunter on the coin's quest, to discover it, recognize it, and unlock its incredible story and unimaginable value. Next, 1916 No Mint Mark 1 cent USA wee penny, a coin whose humble copper appearance hides a staggering value that has stunned even the most seasoned collectors. Valued at an unbelievable $35 million, this century-old Lincoln wee penny is not only a tangible piece of American history but also a symbol of how imperfection, rarity, and time can transform the simplest object into a fortune beyond imagination. When people hear about a penny worth millions, they often think it must be made of gold or silver, but this coin proves that rarity and mystery, not material, define true value. The 1916 No Mint Mark wee penny was struck in Philadelphia, which explains the absence of a mint mark under the date. Yet, what makes certain examples of this coin worth tens of millions isn't its location of origin but rather a breathtaking blend of minting errors, metallurgical oddities, historical anomalies, and near-mythical preservation that make it one of the most sought-after coins ever created. The story begins in an era when America was at the brink of transformation. The year 1916 marked a time of industrial boom, global conflict, and national pride. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909, had already become an icon, the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, symbolizing honesty, freedom, and endurance. But amid the massive production runs at the Philadelphia Mint, a few flukes of machinery, human oversight, and material experimentation gave birth to the rarest 1916 wee pennies known today. Some of these coins were struck using slightly worn or misaligned dies, creating subtle doubling effects on the date, the word Liberty, or Lincoln's features. Under magnification, these doubled details shimmer like ghostly shadows, proof of the mechanical dance between die and planchet that went just slightly awry, and it's these tiny, frozen mistakes that collectors now value more than gold. One of the most spectacular errors associated with the 1916 penny is the doubled die obverse, where the front of the coin was struck twice out of sync. On the rare examples, you can see a clear doubling on Lincoln's profile, his eye, or the date itself. It's believed these errors occurred when the die shifted slightly during its creation, imprinting a double design that was then transferred onto thousands of coins. Most were eventually melted or worn down through circulation, but a handful survived in near pristine condition, and those are now worth millions. Another extraordinary type of error found in 1916 wee pennies involves the off-metal strikes, where pennies were accidentally minted on planchets meant for other coins such as dimes or foreign currency. Imagine a penny made of silver or nickel instead of copper, slightly thinner and lighter, with a strange gleam that sets it apart. These wrong planchet errors are so rare that only a few have ever been authenticated, and when one surfaces at auction, collectors go into a bidding frenzy that can send prices soaring into the tens of millions. But the mystery doesn't stop there. Some 1916 No Mint Mark pennies have also exhibited unusual die cracks, die clashes, and lamination errors. Die cracks are raised lines across the coin's surface caused by a fracture in the die itself, while die clashes happen when the coin dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions of the reverse design on the obverse or vice versa. Lamination errors, on the other hand, occur when impurities in the metal cause flakes or streaks to peel away over time, revealing the raw metal beneath. Each of these errors adds uniqueness, No two coins are identical, and when they appear on a coin as old and historically significant as the 1916 wheat penny, they become priceless artifacts. What truly drives the astronomical $35 million valuation, however, is a combination of rarity, condition, and provenance. Very few 1916 pennies have survived in perfect, mint-state condition. The vast majority were heavily circulated, scratched, and worn away over decades of use, making untouched examples almost mythical. A handful of these flawless coins have been graded MS-68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, placing them among the finest known specimens on Earth. When such a coin appears at auction, it isn't just purchased by collectors, it's pursued by investors, historians, and even museums, all eager to own a relic that represents both America's minting heritage and the allure of imperfection. For beginners hoping to identify a valuable 1916 penny, the first step is careful observation. Use a magnifying glass or microscope to study every part of the coin. Look for doubling on the date, the word Liberty, or Lincoln's Eye. Check for cracks, die lines, or off-center strikes. Feel the coin's texture. If it's unusually smooth, thick, or oddly colored, it may have been struck on a different metal. Also, check its weight. A normal copper penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. Anything significantly different might be a clue to an off-metal or experimental strike. Always remember that mint errors are often subtle. They don't shout their value. They whisper it to those who know how to listen. Once you believe you've found something special, don't rush to clean it. Cleaning can destroy surface details, wipe away patina, and erase the microscopic traces that prove authenticity. Instead, handle it gently by the edges and store it in a protective holder or coin flip. Then, consider sending it for professional evaluation. Reputable grading companies like PCGS, NGC, or Annax will not only authenticate your coin but also grade it, sealing it in a tamper-proof holder with a certification label. This authentication is crucial because it transforms your coin from a mysterious find into a verified collectible worth serious money. When it comes to selling such a treasure, you'll want to choose your platform wisely. For coins valued in the millions, major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers Galleries, and Legend Rare Coin Auctions are your best bet. These institutions specialize in showcasing numismatic masterpieces to an audience of global elite collectors and investors. They offer expert marketing, authentication, and presentation, ensuring that your coin achieves the highest possible sale price. Private collectors, too, can be valuable contacts. Many are willing to pay premiums for coins with extraordinary backstories or unique minting errors. For smaller or more common examples, reputable online marketplaces like eBay can still be useful, but make sure your coin is certified and that you work with verified buyers. Beyond the market value, the 1916 wheat penny holds deep historical and emotional significance. It carries the spirit of an America still finding its identity, a nation preparing to enter World War I, an era of transition from horse-drawn carriages to automobiles, from paper records to industrial mass production. Every dent, every faint scratch on a 1916 penny tells the story of millions of hands it passed through, from factory workers to soldiers, from shopkeepers to families saving for a better life. That's what makes it magical. It's more than copper, it's memory cast in metal. For beginners in coin collecting, the 1916 penny is a powerful teacher. It reminds you that patience and curiosity are your greatest tools. Start by learning how coins are minted, how errors occur, and how to spot authenticity markers. Invest in basic tools like a magnifying glass, a digital scale, and a coin reference guide. Build your collection slowly, focusing on condition and history rather than just age. Attend local coin shows, talk to other collectors, and join online numismatic communities. Every coin you study deepens your knowledge and sharpens your instincts. Remember, the people who discovered coins like the 1916 no-mint mark wheat penny worth $35 million didn't stumble upon them by luck alone. They were observant, dedicated, and persistent. And that's the beauty of the coin's quest. The thrill of the search, the stories behind every find, and the possibility that your next handful of loose change could contain a treasure hidden in plain sight. Somewhere out there, in a forgotten box of old coins, in a family collection passed down through generations, or even in an overlooked jar on a dusty shelf, another 1916 no-mint mark wheat penny with a rare minting era waits to be discovered. Its surface may be dulled by time, but its value, both historical and monetary, is brighter than ever. So, keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a single penny, because the next one you find might just be worth $35 million, and could change your life forever. And as we continue this incredible adventure on the coin's quest, the story of the 1916 no-mint mark wheat penny deepens even further, a tale that reminds us that every coin is more than metal. It is a time capsule of history, craftsmanship, and human error that sometimes transforms into unimaginable fortune. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that was minted more than a century ago, during a time when Woodrow Wilson was president and the world was at war. Each 1-cent piece struck that year carried with it the promise of a growing nation, the spirit of resilience, and the artistry of early 20th century minting technology. But hidden within that mass production was a single batch of coins that defied the rules of precision, carrying flaws so rare and subtle that only a trained eye could recognize them, flaws that would one day make them worth $35 million each. To understand why this coin commands such astronomical value, you must dive into the tiny, invisible world of minting science. During the coinage process, dies, the engraved steel pieces that stamp designs into metal blanks, must be perfectly aligned, perfectly hardened, and carefully maintained. Yet, in 1916, the Philadelphia Mint was under tremendous pressure to produce coins quickly to meet the nation's growing demand. It is believed that during this period, some dies were reused beyond their intended lifespan, leading to distortions, overpolishing, and misalignments. This produced minor variations in Lincoln's features and the lettering, details so faint that most people never noticed them, but collectors now treasure them as rare birthmarks of minting history. Some of these 1916 no-mint mark pennies also showed die polishing lines, which appear as faint scratches or streaks across the surface. These lines were not caused by wear but by mint workers attempting to remove clash marks or imperfections from the die itself, unintentionally leaving behind a pattern that is unique to each die pair. Think of them as fingerprints. No two dies produced exactly the same set of marks. This means that every surviving 1916 penny with visible die polish lines is essentially one of a kind, a fact that multiplies its value in the collector's market. Now, let's talk about the planchet anomalies, one of the most fascinating and valuable forms of minting error. The planchet is the blank metal disc upon which the coin design is struck, and during 1916, planchets were supposed to be made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. However, historical records and metallurgical tests suggest that a few batches of blanks deviated from this composition, possibly due to leftover experimental alloys used in the previous year or contamination in the metal supply. Some coins appear to have a reddish gold tone, while others show a duller, almost bronze-gray finish. These subtle differences in composition affect the coin's density, color, and even magnetic properties. When certified and verified by experts, these off-metal 1916 wheat pennies can fetch jaw-dropping prices, sometimes tens of millions of dollars, especially when the error is combined with exceptional condition and provenance. The strike quality also plays a critical role in a coin's desirability. A strong strike means the coin's details, Lincoln's hair, the folds in his jacket, the fine lines of the wheat stalks, are sharp and crisp. Most 1916 pennies were struck hastily, leading to weaker designs and flattened features. But a handful were struck perfectly, capturing every intricate detail of Victor David Brenner's iconic design. When such a coin survives in nearly flawless mint state, untouched by circulation, it becomes a masterpiece, a relic of craftsmanship that has defied time, corrosion, and human handling for over a century. Add to that a minting error, and you have a coin that collectors will fight fiercely to own, sometimes pushing bids to record-breaking heights. Over the years, several of these extraordinary 1916 no-mint mark wheat pennies have surfaced under astonishing circumstances. One was discovered by a retired machinist in the Midwest who had kept a small jar of old coins from his father's workshop. Another surfaced during a family estate sale, where it had been sitting unnoticed in a dusty cigar box for nearly 80 years. Each discovery sent shockwaves through the collecting community, reigniting the legend of the 1916 penny and driving its mythical value even higher. But what fascinates collectors most is not just the money, it's the story. Every time one of these coins is found, it adds a new chapter to America's numismatic history, proving that even after a century, the past can still surprise us. If you're new to coin collecting and dreaming of making such a discovery, here are some important lessons to remember. First, education is your greatest investment. Before you start buying or selling coins, study how they're made, what errors exist, and how to identify counterfeits. Authentic 1916 pennies are often faked because of their high value, so knowing the precise weight, diameter, and appearance of genuine examples is crucial. A real 1916 no-mint mark penny should weigh about 3.11 grams, measure 19 millimeters across, and feature sharp, even lettering. Second, condition matters more than age. A 1916 penny in poor condition might be worth a few dollars, but the same coin in mint state can be worth thousands, and with rare errors, millions. Third, always authenticate your coins through professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Their certification protects your investment and gives buyers confidence when it's time to sell. When you're ready to sell or showcase your collection, choose your platform wisely. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers provide unparalleled exposure, connecting your coin to a network of elite buyers. For those who prefer direct transactions, trusted coin dealers and private collectors can also be valuable contacts. Some collectors even form partnerships or consignment agreements with coin brokers who specialize in high-end numismatics, ensuring maximum visibility and top-dollar offers. Online sales platforms like eBay or whatnot can also be useful, but they require caution. Always ensure your listings are verified, and never ship rare coins without insurance or tracking. But beyond the money, the real joy of collecting lies in the hunt. The excitement of opening an old coin roll, checking each penny one by one, feeling the texture of history between your fingers, and realizing that you might just be holding a forgotten gem. The 1916 penny embodies that dream more than any other. It's a symbol of perseverance, patience, and possibility, proof that even the smallest coin can carry the weight of a nation's story. For over 100 years, it has passed through countless hands, survived wars, recessions, and revolutions, and yet it remains, waiting for the right eyes to recognize its brilliance. For those who are just beginning their journey, remember that every collector starts with curiosity. Maybe your first coin isn't worth millions, but every piece you collect teaches you something new: how to see details others miss, how to appreciate craftsmanship, and how to connect the past with the present. Start small, learn about wheat pennies from other years like 1943, 1955, or 1972, which also have famous era varieties. Build the habit of checking your change, visiting flea markets, and exploring antique shops. Keep your finds organized and documented. Over time, as your knowledge grows, so will your collection's value, both sentimental and financial. The world of coin collecting isn't just about profit, it's about passion. It's about preserving the tangible pieces of history that tell our collective story. The 1916 no-mint mark wheat penny isn't just rare because of its errors, it's priceless because of what it represents: the legacy of craftsmanship, the wonder of chance, and the timeless truth that value often hides in plain sight. So keep your eyes open, your curiosity alive, and your spirit adventurous. Somewhere, maybe in an old drawer or a forgotten piggy bank, another 1916 penny lies waiting for discovery. Its copper may be darkened by age, but its story is brighter than ever. And who knows, the next great treasure of the coin's quest might be in your very own hands, waiting for you to see what millions of others have overlooked for more than 100 years.